Alright, today I'm going to be taking apart my Tokyo Marui 870 Tactical, um, and then I'm going to put it back together in a follow-up video. So first step, take out the gas chamber, make sure there's no shell in there. And then you're going to remove this long screw in the back of the butt plate with a fairly large screwdriver. It's pretty easy to do. I mean, it's really nothing to it. The thing to remember though is that this screw in the back does not hold the rest of the body together. It's actually the pins that do, and so you want to be careful about taking the stock off before you remove the pins. Now here you can see this is where there's an O-ring right here. In the exploded diagram on the Marui, it's not really clear, so I added an extra O-ring so that I have two kind of O-rings being mushed together or whatever. We'll just point it to those. So next up, I've removed the two body pins holding in the trigger. Now the trigger will get stuck on things. It's kind of goofy. Just wiggle it back and forth, or in this case, if you pop the slide back a little bit, the trigger will come right out, and you can take out the body. Now I have the injection port facing downwards, so that when I pull all of it out, there are two springs that are fairly long, and a little tiny silver piece, which you'll see, that if you're not careful, you will lose them. And so whenever I take this apart, I keep the ejection port side down, so all those pieces get trapped underneath the body and they don't go anywhere. Let's see, what's next? I don't actually remember because I made the video and I don't know what's going on. Oh, so next up, I'm going to be removing the bracket that's holding on the upper barrel. Get those things out of the way. So first you're going to remove the magazine tube cover thing, and that'll allow you to get that off of there. Now, I've already done this once, and I didn't put the spring back in, so usually you would take out the spring as well. This piece you'll have a screw right there that you'll get out of there. Mine isn't in there because I've already taken it apart. I haven't put it back completely together. But that piece is a pain in the butt to get off. You just kind of work it back and forth and get it off eventually. And that will allow you to take the slide off. Now, in order to get the slide off, what you're going to do is you're going to take those two slide arms on either side of the body, pull them slightly away from the body like this, and the whole slide should just drop right off. Or not, whatever. It's fine. Doesn't even matter. There we go. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to remove that screw right there, and that will allow you to pull off the magazine tube part of the gun, and that'll allow you to, and that'll get you the access to the barrel and what's holding the barrel on there. So then you have these two long screws that are attaching the metal barrel to the plastic-like body housing. I guess the one issue that I really have with this gun is that all of the heavy metal externals are bolted to the plastic body housing. This black piece that this black frame that you can see right here. And I don't know if I really trust that in the long term. I'm hoping like RA Tech or somebody will make like a CNC'd metal version of the same thing. Anyway, so next you're going to remove all these small springs and bits and pieces off of the thing there. So right there is part of the hop-up adjustment, or not the hop-up, the 3 to 6 fire adjust. And there's two screws, there's a spring, and then there's the two plastic pieces, which you'll take off of there. And then there's just a bunch of little tiny screws everywhere. And take them all off. I was able to do most of them with just a medium-sized sort of eyeglass screwdriver. They're just like a flathead because they were the Torx Bits were the right size or whatever. Now, there's this one right here. There's one long silver piece that goes most of the way down the frame. That's really the only one of those that you have to remove. Those two right there can stay exactly where they are, since they don't attach to the other side of the body, so you don't have to remove them. It's just two fewer pieces to worry about. And then there's a couple springs right there as well. That again, if you lose them, you're kind of out of luck because there are no spare parts out yet. So I just leave those right where they are. There's only a couple screws on the opposite side, on the non-ejection port side of this frame here, that you need to worry about in order to take the thing apart. But if you take those two screws out on either side of that housing there, you can get the barrel assembly out. Next up, I'm going to be taking the rest of these screws out so that I can break this plastic frame in half, and that'll allow me access to like the air chamber and all the firing. Alright, so now in order to get this apart, you're going to sort of pry everything out a little bit, and then what's holding it together at this point is the nozzle. So you're going to push in the nozzle and then lift the whole body assembly apart. Now, everything might just kind of explode on you like it did for me the first time I took this apart. That's okay, as long as you keep track of all the pieces. I'll show you how to put it all back together. Now you can see that those two silver pieces are still right there. There's the shell cover holder or anything, whatever. There's the feed ramp. That piece is what's responsible for actually pushing BBs into the chamber. That's actually a two-part thing right there. There's the there's the feed ramp and the magazine thing. What I'm pulling out here is a spring that sits underneath the feed ramp, or no, not the feed ramp, the shell eject. Here's the hammer and firing assembly. I'm wondering if I can maybe polish that up a little, or maybe get a slightly heavier spring, see if I can get some more FPS out of there. Then all you have to do to get the air chamber out is to unscrew on the other side, and then that whole bit will drop right out. Again, push the nozzle back because it's on like a ramp, so you push the nozzle back and then the whole thing just lifts out. I'm also wondering if at some point I'll try it when spare parts start coming out. I'm going to try and take the air chamber apart, see if I can maybe get another O-ring in there, maybe increase the compression a little bit, get a little bit more gas efficiency or something, just something to experiment with. Now my nozzle actually is cracked, so it's goofy. And then there should be no more pieces in the body right there. So now I'm taking apart the barrel assembly. For those of you that are interested in those tight bore barrels that have come out, if anybody has those, leave a link in the or leave a comment and let me know what you think. I personally don't really care all that much, but if people think they're worth it, what I did actually was I just took mine apart and then I polished the barrels, and the grouping seems to improve tremendously already, as well as the range a little bit. So here you can see the barrel assembly right here. So there's that plastic sleeve kind of bit that you need to take off that front piece, and then that all slides out. And the three barrels will come out of the assembly there. Now the hop rubbers are not attached to the barrels. They just kind of sit on top of that little slot that's been cut out, and then you'll see they're stuck in this plastic piece right here, and you just push them out. Obviously there's three hop-up rubbers, not adjustable. It's pretty interesting the way they did. You can see like little ridges in there to hold the two separate BBs at the same time. There you go. That's all there is to it.